Time to start making the sidearms for this trailer. Right, so we're now going to try and make these sidearms for the boat trailer. So they're kind of going to go out from the trailer and then up. So we're just winging it a bit here to find out how we go. So we'll just do the first bend. And we'll see how we get on. Let's have a bit of a look, see what it fits like. So I sort of need these arms to come up here, out, and then up. So first bend here, it's going to go something like that. And I've got to put another bend in here to go up below the contour of the boat. So I'm just going to sort of wing it, do it and see what happens. So I just need to make two of these bends the same. So this is just the first one, and I'm going to line this one up. Oh, it's heavy one-handed. That's pretty well spot on. So that's the first bend for them. We'll have to set them up and put them up and do the second bend. So to mark them the same, I've put a black texture mark right in the centre of that bend there. You can see where the dies actually put a mark on it. So I'll put that, I've got a bit of a jig on the table here, that's dead straight. This mark here, we'll put right on the edge of the table, and then the next bend, I've did a rough scratch from when I put on the trailer, so I'll go in the centre of this little lug I've got here, so that's where I need the die to go. So now we need to copy that so I can make two the same. I'll just get this out of the road. And this is our second one. So again, I'll put a black mark pretty much in the centre where that die was, where it folded. Put that on the table, put that mark smack bang on the edge of the table, and then we'll put our second bend right there. So these two will be identical. So I need to put a bend in this mark here the opposite way, which makes it a bit tricky because I haven't really got room. So I find that the dies are a little bit out of whack, but if I lock that in there, that's going to be very close. A bit of pressure on that one. Just make sure the pipe's straight up and down. Pretty much is. I'll just do a little bit of this at a time, and I'll put it on the boat and just see how close that is. And I can tell that's going to be nowhere near close yet. So, try that again. Just do a little bit at a time. See what that looks like. So that's going to go somewhere like that. So that's our first curve, second curve. We missed that shine on the side of the boat, and then we'll need another one up here somewhere to square it up. So just put a mark on there. See what we're doing. That'll be about there somewhere. Hard to hold. And I reckon another one about where my finger is up here, and we'll make that go straight up there, and we'll just miss the size of the boat like that then. Really bucketing down. So basically just need to repeat that and make that curve here. So I'm not sure if you can see that. So looking down on top of them, You can see that one's spearing off, hasn't got quite enough bend in it yet. So I need to put a little bit more onto that second one. So that's 2 bends done, just got to do the third one now. So that's pretty much where it's going to end up, somewhere like that. And then this is going to get welded on the end out like that. Now we've just got to copy the other side and cut them to length. Do some welding. Got a bit of scrap metal here. We're just making a couple of little gussets that will go around the pipe where it gets welded to the clamp that goes onto the trailer. So this will be just a bit of mock off-cut pipe that is going to go up like that, and basically we're just going to cut this little triangle out, but we need to drill a hole in it to slide this through, give it a little bit of extra support when we weld it on. So we'll just quickly drill that and I'll show you that once it's welded on. And we'll do that with the other side. All we need to do is cut this out with an angle grinder then. We've got a little, in basically it's just a little bit of reinforcing we're going to weld onto the trailer thing. It's a little gusset. Basically, as an example, that's going to be like a little gusset when the pipe's welded onto a pipe like that. That will go on there and just make it a little bit stronger. It's a sideways movement. Just need to cut 2 of these box sections, 100mm. That'll slip over the trailer frame, which will then weld the pipe to. I need to cut out one of these sides that'll drop over the chassis, but when you look inside, this one's actually got the seam and that one doesn't. So we'll cut this one out because the seam's always weaker. The chassis that this drops over is actually 40mm in here. This is about 45 inside roughly. So what I'll do is I'll leave a little bit of a lip on one of these sides, so when it drops over the chassis I'll spread it out a little bit, it'll click on, and then we can put 2 bolts through it, make it a little bit stronger again. So I won't cut it right to the edge, I'll come in a little bit. So we'll just get a guesstimation there, and do the same the other side. So that way it'll create a little bit of a lip when it drops over. I'll cut that out by hand with an angle grinder. So that, once we clean that up, that'll just drop over the chassis, and then we can clamp that in, and then those little lips there will actually hold that in nice and tight. And we'll weld our pipe on the end here. So I made 2 of these, whizzed around there with the angle grinder, just take the outside lip off. Then we get our deburring tool and go around the inside with this, take off any burrs on the inside that are hanging on there. Well, that takes all those off. So you go all the way around all of them, and then it's time for welding. I'll just change out this welding wire. At the moment we've got solid core wire in here, which you use with gas. So I'm going to swap this out for flux core, which means we can, which we don't have to use gas with, and it's good for welding galv. So I'll just pull this one out. So flux core's just got flux built into the actual wire itself, and it's good for welding out in the wind and things as well. So when you change these over, just make sure you don't let the end go, or you end up with the world's most expensive slinky. So just pull them around like that. That's ready to go later. So this is a wire, this has no flux in it, and you use that with gas. In this case we're using light Argo Shield. And this stuff here, which I need to go into town and get some more because I'm probably going to run out actually. This is flux core, and that's got flux inside, so you don't need gas with this. But if you run gas with it, it's even better. Good for welding in the wind where your gas on your MIG welder blows away normally. So when I've got dirty galv stuff to weld, it goes pretty well. And then you just got to chip off a little bit of flux off it later. So I'll get this all changed over and we'll get into the welding. Definitely going to run out of here I think, but anyway we'll just use what I've got up here, and then I'll head into town and grab some more. Just trim that off. Mark up here we line up the spool with. Oh, it's actually got to be that one. Like that, whack that on. Thread this in here, and again don't let it go because it'll fly off everywhere. So we thread this through to the wire feed, put that through like that, put the tensioner on, just find the end of the gun. I'll just keep cranking that till that comes out. There it is there, put our tip back on. And a nozzle, gas nozzle, and away we go. So I'm about to run out of wire, so what I'll do is I'll just tack on these pipes onto the bracket and just set them up on the boat and just see if they're right, and then I'll have to go into town and get some more wire. So we'll just run with what we've got at the moment. So I've just ground off a bit of the galv on this just to help it weld a bit better. I've already got a mark on the bottom of where I want it to go. These other marks are just where I was bending it. So we'll just set that roughly there, and we'll just try and tack that on without moving it too much, and then we'll be able to bend it around a little bit anyway. slowly. See how straight it is that way. Not too bad. So it's just on there, which is all we really need. That'll be good enough to pop it on and see if it's going to be in the right spot. So quite happy with where that's tacked on. Just quickly do the same with this one. Some serious wild weather going on outside. Hear my shed rattling and carrying on. So all we've done there is we've just tacked that on very, very roughly. Being galv, nasty stuff to weld. Anyway, this is where these come into it. This is a little gusset we made. Which way does that go? Like that. So this will just thread over the end down to there, and we'll basically just weld that in there as well to give it a little bit of extra strength basically. We'll just stop them moving sideways a bit more, and then I can still put 2 bolts in underneath. So we'll weld that up. I won't film that because yeah, just not good for the GoPro. I don't think. I've already got stuff on the lens, so I'll just weld them up and I'll show you the finished bit. Welding galv's always a bit messy, but once we've welded it, just give it a hit with the needle scaler, and that knocks a bit of the galv flux and rubbish out of the road. And then you can see how bad your welds really are. So that weld there actually looks a bit cold to me, hasn't got very good penetration. Underneath it's actually quite good. I tried to fill it in, so I'm just going to bump up the amps a bit and fill that in nice and smooth. So I just went over that, a bit more heat into it. It's penetrated really well. Not the prettiest weld, but it ain't going to break. Trying to drill some holes. So there'll be bolts going through this, through the chassis and the trailer. Speed him up a bit. I've moved this whole boat back and I'll readjust all the trailer, rollers and slides. But anyway, in the meantime, this is one of the arms we made. So that arm's just temporary sitting on there at the moment. That'll be bolted through here. It's going to sit like that. And what I need to do now is weld on these plates that will protect it a bit like that. So we'll just do that. I'll lower them down so I can put a cap on the top, stop water getting in. So I'll weld them on about there somewhere. So I cut the side off this little existing, what is it, trailer light holder thing that was on the bottom of the trailer. Cut the tab off, just going to weld that on there like so. Just welding the other one now, so you've got a good good penetration on the other side, so we know that's not going to fall off. And we'll just go around the top here now, around that little gusset we made. So I ran out of wire here, so we're off to town and get some more. So I finished both guide rails now, and we've got a little spot to mount the number plate. And give them a quick coat of cold galv paint and we'll just let them dry. Got the guide arms just temporary on there at the moment, just sitting over there. Just got to drill them now, put a couple of bolts through. So that's one, and that's the other one there. Made up a bracket for the number plate. Drilled a hole there, number plate light will come through there, and I'll screw that on. And same again, just got to drill that and bolt it on. Bolt it on through here, lock nut on the other side. So that shouldn't go anywhere. I've moved the boat back on the trailer quite a bit actually, so now the keel's sitting on the back roller, and then I've loosened up all the other rollers, and so it's basically sitting on the keel evenly now. I've moved the winch post backwards, it was back here. Put the jockey wheel in a spot where I can actually turn the handle without it hitting anything. I've adjusted the height of the front bow roller, so it now locks in basically above where the winch hooks in, so it can't ride up over the front. So at the moment we've got all that set exactly where we want it. The boat's in the right position, sitting on all 3 keel rollers on the actual keel. So now all we've got to do is adjust the stability side of it. So now that it's sitting on evenly on all of the keel rollers, and I've lowered the whole thing down as low as I'm going, you just got to make sure, this is a mud guard, you just got to make sure when you lower a boat down you've got plenty of clearance on the guards. So the next thing is, you can see that's rocking back and forth now. What I'll do is I'll ratchet strap each side down to just have an even clearance over the mud guards, and then I'll know that the boat's dead centre on the trailer, and then I can start adjusting these side skids here which support under the boat, stop it rocking around. So I've got all this nicely sorted now. We've got the trailer sitting on the keel, finishes on this lug here, so it's definitely on the keel when it's travelling. We've set up these self-centering guides as well where they're supposed to be, they were miles out, so when you come in now with the V of the boat, if you're a little bit off it'll hit that, drop onto the roller. And we've also got the skids just touching the hull, and when you put a strap on that stops a little bit of that sideways movement. You don't want much weight on these skids at all the weight should be on the keel, so it's all good. On to the next job. Got a ton of reflectors here, so these are going to go on the trailer. The orange ones are sideways ones, and they're supposed to be about 1 metre back from the end, and because I've got nowhere I can possibly practically mount that, I've just got an old one, cut it in halves, stuck that there, so hopefully that's legal. I'll stick another 2 down the side as well. Anyway, so on here it's going to be a red one, obviously at the back, white ones at the front, and orange on the side. So I've cleaned all the trailer with prep sole, ready to go. So that one can go just under there. So just self-adhesive tape, which makes it fairly easy. How long they'll stay on there for, I have no idea. And then we've got a white one, so that'll go there. Don't know if there's a top and bottom, that's the way the labels are, so we'll go with that. So that white one on the front. There is a 45 piece here, so technically if you put it there you could see it from the side, so you'd probably get in trouble for that, who would know. So that's 100% on the front there anyway. And I'll put another one just there. That's where I've cleaned that, so I'll stick one right there. So, these are our stickers, reflectors. Should be lit up like a Christmas tree. So I'll just leave it there for that video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, hit the like button if you could, that'd be great. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Next video is putting some frames in the boat for a little casting deck up the front and a spot where I can put a battery underneath. So stay tuned and I'll see you on the next one.